So just wanted to say hi to everybody and thanks for joining us today for our session on how to start building and implementing a meaningful and future fit skills framework for your organization. So before we get stuck into the session and the world of skills-based workforce management, I just wanted to give you a short introduction as to who we are and what we do at WithYouWithMe. I'm Sophie Millington, and I'm Product Development Director here at WithYouWithMe, and I do just that. I listen and learn to what our clients need when it comes to visibility of skills within their workforce, and I help our product team develop our skills platform in line with your needs. So I'm really keen to hear your pain points and what you're hoping to get from today's webinar. I'm joined by Toby Wolf, our SFIA certified practitioner. SFIA, SFIA, being the globally recognised skills framework for the information age. So we're delighted to have you here with us as we explore a topic that's front of mind for many HR and team leaders, which is how to get started in a practical way with the concept of skills-based workforce management. I can see a few familiar names joining us today. Some of you have attended some previous events and workshops. But for those new to us today, WithYouWithMe is a global workforce intelligence company that works with organizations all around the world to help solve their skills challenges by evolving the skills that they have into the skills that they need, from a bottom-up employee perspective to a top-down strategic level insights. Now, what does that really mean? So from an employee level, that's helping you to build a comprehensive skills framework that you can map your employees' current skills against and also measure their potential to learn new skills. And then using these workforce insights, you can implement highly targeted professional development or hiring plans. And from an organizational level, we can help provide you with a platform to get a holistic view of your skills data, where those gaps are, and to help you understand what your workforce looks like and the impact of AI, automation, and augmentation will have on your people to ensure you're really planning in the best possible way for a future fit workforce. So I hope today is packed full of useful information on what value building a skills framework will bring your business and your people and how to get started. And we'll keep things to 30 minutes, as I know you all have busy calendars. Toby's going to take you through the basics of skills frameworks, including a best practice example of a framework you might consider using as a starting point to build on, before giving you a practical look at what an implementation of that framework may look like once you've decided on the path that you want to take. We'll then jump into the process of, once you have a framework in place, how you can start to map and understand the existing skills of your people, as well as understanding their potential to learn new skills. And finally, we'll walk you through how you can use a few tools to streamline this process and really ensure the skills framework is dynamic and actionable across your organization, from workforce planners and managers right down to team members. The intent is that you walk away armed with information on how you can get started with skills frameworks and skills mapping your people. Or if you've already started on the journey, how you can use your skills data to identify professional development opportunities, internal mobility options, and also how to use aggregated skills data for workforce planning and aligning your people's skills to business strategic goals. How this looks in practice differs for every organization. But as one of the earliest adopters in this space, we've been doing it for almost 10 years now, we like to start with skills frameworks and mapping job roles down to specific capability and skill level. We've built a platform that allows us to do this at scale and does a lot of the legwork for our customers by essentially helping them assess current skill levels and overlaying that information with an individual's potential to learn a new skill. Then we use that data to clearly map out learning opportunities for individuals to excel in their current role and identify upskilling pathways matched to natural strengths or highlight where there's a gap that may require new talent to be brought in. Essentially, it's an exercise for organisations to get to know every employee, bring them on the journey, and for managers to understand how they can support team members in their current role and future careers within the organisation. So on that note, I'll pass you over to Toby to dive into the best approach on how to get started with skills frameworks. What are the pieces and processes you need in place to be able to start gathering skills insights on your people? Over to you, Toby.
Brilliant. Thank you, Sophie. And hello, everyone. Before we start, we're actually just launching a poll as we'd like to know where you are on your skills journey. So please do take a moment to respond to that poll and add your response.
I'm just going to jump in there, Toby, and just say there's a slight technical hitch with the poll. So we'll just come back to that. And the poll will appear shortly in the chat. So if you can answer that whilst Toby's talking, that would be fab.
Thanks, Sophie. That's fine. Yeah, we are keen to understand where on the path your organisation is in terms of understanding your workforce skills. Some of you may have started mapping this out, while others may simply have it under consideration. We'd also be interested to know if any of you have or are using or thinking about using a platform to help build your skills framework. In terms of our belief, it's certainly our belief that wherever you are on your skills journey, the key element is your ability to understand the skills you have versus the skills that you need. And it's with this clear visibility that workforce planning becomes strategic rather than reactive. There we go. There's the poll. So what I'll do is I'll just give it 10 to 15 seconds for people to answer the poll before moving on. Right, I'll continue, but do please feel free to continue filling the poll in if you haven't. So we often hear a lot of confusion in the market about the difference between a skill, a competency, a capability, or even tools. It really is vital to understand people from a skills-based perspective. And here's the distinction. A skill is the ability to perform a task competently. It's developed through learning and experience, and it covers both technical skills, such as software development, and behavioural skills, like leadership. Skills can be classified by proficiency levels, and this helps us understand how well someone fits a role based on what they can actually do, not just their qualifications or years of experience. Skills really are front and centre for many organisations right now, as they need a more inclusive and comprehensive way to understand their workforce capability, one that goes beyond your static job titles or your CVs. Now, the approach that we take at WithYouWithMe is supporting organisations with skills, and that begins with clarity. Now, that means clarity around roles and their alignment to strategic goals. From here, we can understand capability, so where we start uncovering natural strengths and validate opportunities for growth and learning. With clear alignment and understanding on capability, we can get to closure. That's the ability to bridge any skill gap, creating learning opportunities and building development pathways that are focused on supporting the individual and therefore support organisational growth. Now, today, our focus being on skills frameworks, we're actually going to look particularly at clarity and capability. So our experience from working with organisations who have started from scratch tells us building a skills framework requires 4 key steps. Now, these steps will ensure you are set up for success. So I will discuss understanding business need, gathering role information and how to go about it, how we can analyse and apply to a universal skills language, and then looking at making it dynamic and actionable. So looking first of all at understanding business needs. Before we build a skills framework, we need to define why we're doing it. It might sound like an obvious statement, but being clear from the outset helps to form your business case and ensure the organisation can come along on the journey with you. Consider a clear initiative or a goal that you're looking to achieve as a group. Is it for workforce planning, talent management, or learning and development? Who are the key stakeholders? So is it HR, business leaders, L&D teams, right through to team members and their managers. Their input shapes a framework that's practical, relevant, and widely adopted. Adopting a skills-based approach isn't just a structural change, it's a change management exercise. And a pilot group really helps to refine the approach, while also building buy-in and creating advocates across the organisation. By taking a thoughtful, phased approach, we can successfully embed skills-based thinking, make it easier to align roles, develop talent, and future-proof the workforce. Step 2 involves gathering role information. So when we think about building an understanding of skills within an organisation, the best place to start is with what we already have. Job descriptions give us a starting point, absolutely, but they often lack detail or clarity, and sometimes even inflate the breadth or level of skill required for a role. To get a true picture of what's needed, we found it valuable to workshop key tasks with a pilot group. Combined with job descriptions, this helps uncover the real responsibilities, expectations, and growth opportunities in each role. From there, we can incorporate role leveling to map the flow of roles across the organisation, defining clear career progression, pathways, and scope for internal mobility initiatives. Once that foundation is set, the next step is to translate and apply the information into a universal skills language. So, looking on to step 3. So I mentioned earlier about the definition of skills. When organisations start looking at skills mapping, you'll often come across other terms like taxonomies, ontologies, and so on. I don't want to go too much into the detail here because I know, and sorry to the L&D experts who are on the call, but simply put, a taxonomy is about naming and grouping skills. An ontology takes it a step further, connecting and relating those skills. But what we actually need is something more practical, and that is where a skills framework comes in. Instead of just listing skills, it describes what it looks like to demonstrate them across different levels of proficiency. At WithYouWithMe, while we work with many frameworks and can tailor mapping to any you've developed, we typically recommend the skills framework for the information age, as Sophie mentioned earlier, or SFIA, as it's more commonly known. SFIA is great for organisations beginning their skills journey because it's a robust, multi-level framework. Its detailed levels go far beyond your beginner, intermediate, advanced, allowing you to pinpoint the exact proficiency required and apply it practically for performance, for growth, and for workforce planning. If you'd like to delve deeper into the language of skills, which some of you may be here for, our colleague, Paul Waltuck, has written a fantastic blog that breaks this down in more detail, and we will share the link in the chat at the end of the webinar. So yes, you can use any frameworks, but for the purposes of today, we'll be using SFIA as the example. So a little bit more background on SFIA, particularly for those who haven't heard of or seen it before. It's a globally recognized framework that provides a common language for defining the skills, behaviors, and knowledge professionals need across industries. It's updated regularly by industry practitioners and offers a practical reference for developing people, shaping roles, and building organizational capability. Now, what makes SFIA powerful is its flexibility and its breadth. Unlike some frameworks, which are tied to a single business function, such as finance or marketing, SFIA spans across sectors and focuses on what people can actually do. It breaks down roles into specific skills and behaviours with clear responsibility levels. So organisations can assess capability consistently, match people to roles, and plan development with confidence. In short, SFIA gives organisations a structured, adaptable, and future-proof way to manage your skills. Now, SFIA really does excel at breaking occupations into specific skills, but the foundation of SFIA lies in the generic attributes and levels of responsibility. The generic attributes, as seen here, define what's expected at each level, covering both the behaviours needed to be effective and the knowledge required. The levels of responsibility from level 1, your entry level, all the way through to level 7, strategic level, show increasing expertise and accountability, providing a consistent way to describe how skills progress across professional roles. So we can see here, as we move up through the levels, we move from level 1, where we're thinking about following someone who's new to role and working under close supervision. If we skip ahead to a few, so level 3, we're looking at how we can apply our responsibilities. So they can now, maybe someone could do tasks independently, all the way through to level 7. So level 7 is where someone would be setting strategy, inspiring and mobilizing. So maybe someone who is leading an organization, making the big decisions and inspiring everyone to work together. Now, these levels work across the 147 skills within SFIA, and the next slide will start to really bring this to life. So here we'll be able to see how skills align to each of the levels of responsibility. Now, context is really key here. The specific professional skills required will vary depending on the individual's role, responsibilities, and the organizational context. No professional skills have all 7 levels of responsibility. There are skills which clearly won't require the need for performing routine tasks, so you're level 1, while at the other end of the spectrum, some skills aren't required to set organizational strategy, so level 7. Using the example skill of business modeling, so a skill which is essential for the likes of a data analyst, we can see that it is covered by levels 2 through to 6. As we move from level 2 to 6, there is an incremental progression in the skills and responsibilities. So a junior data analyst role may require the skill of business modeling at level 3, while a senior data analyst role may be level 5. This would follow the same process for the data analyst's other skills, such as data visualization, data management, business intelligence, and so on. Now, this really highlights how the SFIA framework makes it easy to map and evaluate skills and behavioural attributes accurately, to identify development needs, recognising gaps in current capabilities, and to communicate expectations using a common language to define roles, responsibilities, and career progression pathways. SFIA's widespread success and global reach stems from its reflection of industry reality, while its flexibility allows it to be applied across a wide range of business and professional functions. So, having looked at the skills and the levels of responsibility, it's important to understand how we actually initially gather this information. So let's consider the role of a customer support representative. So we can take a job description, the main duties and expectations for the role, and use SFIA to translate these duties into standardized skills by matching them to the relevant relevant skills within the role. A customer support representative role would require skills such as customer service support, so where they are managing customer service functions and acting as a point of contact for customers and clients, and other skills such as business process improvement, so identifying and implementing improvements to business models. The role will also require soft skills, known as behaviours by SFIA. So these might include collaboration and communication. So we will complete this process for each of the skills required for this role, and from there assign SFIA levels as we discussed previously. This creates roles that are comprehensive, that cover both technical and soft skills. So the final step in this process is, making your making your framework dynamic and actionable, and that is making sure organizations begin with building skills frameworks and spreadsheets. Now, it's often the case that many do this process, start with a framework in a spreadsheet. Now, that is a good place to start, but as spreadsheets are great for mapping skills, sometimes we may get stuck a little bit. The challenge from a spreadsheet is that it can't easily show you the capability within your organization. It doesn't bring your framework to life or make it something people want to use in their day-to-day work. It's possible, but hard to manage, difficult to keep updated, and rarely simple or accessible. A skills framework is more than just defining the roles, of course. It has to be clear, aligned, and usable. It has to be something people come back to again and again as skills develop. I'd like to show you our skills platform now, and it's called Potential. It takes us beyond a list of skills to actually building success profiles. We start our custom AI tool to map the skills. We then have our experts check and confirm the finer details before validating skills with team leads. So once signed off, the data becomes actionable. It enriches one-to-one conversations, it informs learning plans, and supports workforce development in a meaningful, ongoing way. So let's now take a look at what Potential looks like. So Potential is where we start building out our success profiles. The platform is designed to support you in uploading and validating skill-based roles. Once those roles are uploaded, you're able to assess and visualize capability across the organization. For team members like Sammy here, they can log in and see their current role, the skills required, and self-assess the level that they're working at. Now, I want to flag here, we have designed this to be an objective process. The required skill levels aren't revealed until both the team member and their manager have completed their assessments. Next, we move across to the manager's dashboard. Here, they can organize their team view and run skill assessments. They can get insights into individuals or for individual development plans. Managers have a skills profile view, and this is where they validate an individual's skill levels based on their observations. A detailed view, as you can see here, then shows both perspectives, the team member and the manager side by side. The next part in the process is alignment. And this is where the platform provides a clear data-led view that sits at the center of alignment conversations. Together, managers and team members can review required skill levels, they can identify strengths and discuss current work examples. Managers can use this data to discuss upskilling opportunities against role requirement. There are also options to link directly to online learning resources. Development planning is built directly on the skills assessment, so creating action plans that team members and managers can create, update, and review as part of their regular team rhythms. With a skills framework in place, the organisation can also unlock mobility opportunities. So, for example, from a manager's perspective, we can see Sammy here, who is currently a software developer, shows up as having strong skills and personality fit for a sales role. Now, this is highlighted in the candidate overview report, where Sammy's potential skill match for a new role can be identified. So that is a whirlwind tour of what Potential enables, and it really does enable you to gain a clear understanding of current role alignment, but also unlock information to support internal mobility initiatives. So we've very much seen it at the individual level first, but actually we can validate skills and plan development there, but we can scale them up too, to a team, department or organisation. And the Potential platform gives us unprecedented visibility to be able to do this. It shows where we have strengths, where critical gaps exist, and how we align against SFIA benchmarks. This means leaders can make smarter decisions on workforce planning, learning investments, and internal mobility, ensuring capability grows exactly where it's needed most. In short, we're moving from managing skills at an individual level, as you saw previously, to unlocking organisation-wide insights that drive performance and future readiness. So a skills framework really does support initiatives across every level of the organisation, from employee engagement and team performance right through to organisational design and strategic workforce planning. And it's by taking a skills-based view that enables your planning to be proactive, not reactive, to help you retain critical expertise, to boost your productivity, and foster a real culture that encourages innovation, therefore creating a workplace where people want to stay, they want to perform, and to continually improve. So to briefly summarise, I'll leave you with a checklist for getting started in building your skills framework. Of course, we're here to help and would be very happy to support you in getting started. For now, though, I will hand back to Sophie to wrap up. Over to you, Sophie.
Thanks, Toby. And I hope you've all found that insightful and useful for whatever stage of your skills journey you're at. Just returning to the earlier poll results, we can see that 61% of you are just getting started, 19% are listing skills and competencies in spreadsheets, and then 14% are using existing HRIS platforms to assess skills, and 4% using an external provider. So that's super helpful. And I hope that for those of you just getting started, that this session has given you some helpful insights and tips on how to take those first steps with confidence. And for those of you who've made really great headway in collecting skills in spreadsheets, it shows that you're already recognizing the value of visibility. So hopefully today's given you ideas on how to move beyond those spreadsheets into something a bit more scalable. And for those already collecting skills in their on platforms, we'd love to hear how you're getting along with that as well. So my colleague Vincent will be in touch following the webinar. And I think we've run out of questions, I'm afraid. Sorry, we've run out of time for those questions, but thank you so much to Sarah and Sarah for your questions. We'll follow up on the email, and Vincent will answer those questions for the whole group as well. And you can see visibility on that. But finally, I just wanted to share what we hear from many organisations when they come to us, is that skills and skills frameworks have been on their mind for some time, but it's really only been recently in the last 6 to 12 months that it's become a strategic imperative right up to board level because of the impact of technology is having on people. And we think the key to understanding how technology and AI and automation will affect your people starts with understanding what skills and tasks your people have to do now before you can start to look at which of those can be automated, augmented, or replaced by AI. AI is a great tool, as we all know. It's going to increase productivity hugely, but the foundations of your workforce need to be laid down right and a robust skills framework in place for those productivity gains to be effective across the whole business. So we hope you found that useful. We'll follow up answering those questions. And thank you so much for all being with us today.